Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome to our second PU Computer Science online classes. And in last class, we already learnt some of parameterized constructor and features of parameterized constructor, or we can say some invoking constructor. And in invoking of constructor, a constructor invoked automatically by the compiler with an object declaration, and the invoking of constructor or a constructor can be invoked through the following methods. So, three methods are there. First one is the explicit call, and second implicit call, and third one is the initialization of an object during declaration using assignment operator. And in last class, we already learnt the explicit call with example, and we know the meaning of the explicit call. When it is called as the explicit, that means here the declaration of an object, how we are going to declare such object, going to declare after the declaration, going to use assignment operator, constructor name, and in parentheses the argument list going to enclose, or the argument list enclosed within parentheses. So, this is about our explicit call. And in last class we already used one example, and we used the object obj1, obj2, and these two objects are declared, or we can say that explicitly going to use by using the parameterized constructor. Now, let us see, in today's concept we are going to learn the second and third point, that is called as the implicit call and the initialization of an object during declaration using assignment operator. So, the third point, the third one is about our, or we can say that the second one is the initialization of object using assignment operator or with equal operator. Assignment operator means we know which operator is called as the assignment. The equal sign operator is called as the assignment operator. And in this method we can say that is it possible to declare the object by using number of argument, many number of argument. So, by using we can say that in case of, or in the method of initialization of object using assignment operator, it not possible to use many arguments. Clear this point here. So, this method is used only for the constructor. The constructor exactly, or they contain exactly one argument. Clear this point. So, because of this reason, why? Because the class name is the num, constructor name is also the num here, and in this example how many argument I used in the parenthesis, the argument just only one argument, that means the obj contain one argument, obj1 may be the one argument, obj2 one argument. It not possible to use many argument by using the obj1. So, this method is used for the constructor that have exactly one argument. So, in this method how we are going to declare the object here. So, we can say that the declaration of an object is followed by the assignment operator and value to be initialized. Clear this point here. Why? Because here obj1 value is that, the value is the a only, such value going to assign to the variable a, the value is the 100. And second obj2, that means here also one just argument is there, the argument is the a only. It not possible to use in parenthesis by using 100 comma 200 value. So, that means here just only one argument is there, and we are assigning one value only for the argument. So, this is the most important note about our initialization of an object using, or declaration of an object using the assignment operator. So, let us see this program. So, in this program we can say that keyword class, and num is the class name, and the member data that is called as the A, and such one going to declare by using the access specifier, that is the private access specifier. And later next one we know that the public access specifier is using maybe to declare the member function or maybe to declare the special member function. Why? Because we are in the concept of the constructor, that means sure we are going to use one special member function in the program. So the constructor name num, so I am using the constructor, that is the num, and such constructor have just only one argument only. Why? Because I already said why we need to use one argument. Why? Because it is the rules of the initialization, we need to use one argument. Now whatever the argument we use, that means the data variable, that is the A. So maybe any value it's there in our yum, such one going to initialize the value to the A. Clear this point here? Maybe the yum variable it's there here, we already define, or we can say that we used the data variable, the data or variable, or the simply in simple words we can say as the arguments. Such argument value is there going to assign to the variable A, and we open the flower bracket. So such flower bracket going to close maybe here, otherwise in front of the semicolon we can use the flower bracket. And later next one more member function is that the member function is the display. So going to use by using the data type void, and later it going to display the message is the A only, there is no any message going to display, directly it going to display the value of the A. Why? Because how you are telling? Why? Because here no any double quotation is there, so whatever is there such one going to use by using without double quotation. Because of this reason we can say that it going to display the value and one after the another. Why? Because here one after the another end line is there, it going to display the value one by one. So in case if you are using the end line, then we need the header file is the iomany.h. Clear this point? And later such opening of the flower bracket is there, we need to close the flower bracket and one more flower bracket by using the semicolon. So this line is called as the end of class definition. Okay, the end of class definition. Now we need to use the main function program. So in our main function program, by we using the main function program to declare the object to access the member function. So the declaration going to start. Why? Because I want to use the obj1. So such obj1 going to declare by using the class name. We already know the class name is the num. So such one going to declare num obj1 and directly we need to initialize the value. Why? Because the most important note about our initialization of object using assignment operator, when you are going to declare the object, on that time only we need to initialize the value to the object. Okay, and later one more object I want to declare. The second object name is the obj2. So such one going to declare also by using the class name, that is the num, and directly I am going to use the value for the obj2, that is the 200. Clear this point? And now whatever the value we assign for the obj1 and the obj2, such one I want to display on monitor. So here I want to write some of the message. So such message going to use by using the cout console output. So object1 is equal to obj1 dot display. Why? Because in obj1 dot display, what's the value we used? The value is the 100. So it's going to display the value. Why? Because in display member function we return some message. The message directly it going to no any, that means no any message it going to display, directly it going to display the value. So this is about our 100 value, that means our the object1 is equal to 100. Okay, and the second message is the cout, that means the object2. So it's going to display the message as the object2 and the value obj2 value is the 200. So in output we'll get as the object1 is equal to 100 and object2 is equal to 200. So finally we can say that in this example the object obj1 and obj2 okay are initialized. How we are going to initialize? By using the assignment operator, and should remember it in case of or by using such method it possible to assign just only one one value for the argument. It not possible to use the many number of the argument by using the method like our initialization of a object by using the assignment operator. Now let's see the third one. Why? Because we already said three methods are there. The first method is the explicit call, we already completed, and the second method is called as the initialization of object using assignment operator. Now last method, that is called as the implicit call here. So in case of the implicit call, there is no any changes for our explicit call as well as the implicit call here. Just only the difference to our explicit and implicit, we can say that the difference is just only here. In case of the explicit call, we need to use the assignment operator, but here no any assignment operator we are going to use in our implicit call here. So clear this point here. So we can say that in case of the implicit call, about this declaration we can say the declaration of an object. Why? Because how I declared the object by using the class name. The class name I already used, the class name is the num in this case. So the declaration of an object, okay, is followed by the constructor name. Why? Because we already know what's the name for our class name. Such a name is assigned to the constructor also. So the declaration of an object is followed by our constructor and the argument list enclosed within parentheses. So this is about our implicit and the explicit call. Just the difference, there is no any changes in the program, just difference. In our explicit call we are using equal sign assignment operator, but here we are using the dot operator. But also let's see the explanation about the example. So we know that first of all we are going to start by using the header file IO stream, that is the input and output stream, to input the data, to get the data and to display the data, and later the class is the keyword and num is the class name, and later we know that some of the access specifier we need to use. The access specifiers are private and the public, and in our private we using the member data. So in program I used the member data A and B, and these member data are separated by using the comma here and also by using the data type int, okay. And later next one, the second access specifier. The second access specifier is the public, and such access specifier is using, why? Because to declare the member function and also to declare the constructor special member function. So this is the example for our constructor special member function. How we are telling it's a constructor function? Why? Because the class name and the constructor name should be the same. This will help the compiler to identify that they are the constructor. Why? Because here this is the member function, normal member function, but this one is the constructor special member function. So in constructor we can say some of the argument. Why? Because this is the example of the parameterized constructor. Maybe in parameterized constructor sometime we are using one argument or sometime more than one argument going to use. So in this example I used two argument by using the comma here. So num int m and int n, there is no any semicolon, it is the definition of the constructor, and we know that why we using the constructor or maybe any kind of the constructor we are using to give, to initialize value to the object, okay, to initialize the value to the object. So what's the value we are using for m? Such value is equal to a, that means the m value is 20, means the a value also hold the value 20, clear this one, or maybe the n value that is equal to b, and we open the floor bracket. So such floor bracket going to close here after the calculation, after initializing the value from one variable to another variable. And later next one, the second member function, it's a normal member function of a class num. The member function name is the display. So going to define, it is not the declaration, it is the definition of the, why? Because here no any semicolon is that, directly going to write. So we can say that it is the definition of the member function, and the message going to display a is equal to a, that means some value I used for a and b. The a value is the 10 and b value is the 20 in object 1, and later next one is the A value is 40, B value is 50, but in the object 2. Clear this point here? Why? Because so A is equal to, why? Because it going to access the, first of all, when it going to access the first obj1, on that time it going to display the value 10 and 20. Clear this point? So A is equal to 10 and B value is equal to 20. Maybe whatever the value going to accessing, such value going to display on monitor, and end line is that. So it going to display the value one after the another. Why? Because I already written how it going to display the output. Okay, and later opening of the flower bracket. Now such flower bracket going to close, and finally one more flower bracket by using this semicolon. This is called as the end of class definition. Why? Because here no any scope resolution operator is there. Maybe if any scope resolution operator going to use after the flower bracket semicolon, here whatever is there everything going to define before. So we can say that the end of class definition, and after the end of class definition we are using the main function. Clear this point here? The main function. So program here. So in case of the main function, after writing the main function, here some of the declaration of the objects are there, and such object initializing some different kind of value to each variables. So such obj1 going to declare by using the class name. Class name is the num. There is no any changes here, and dot. Why? Because just only the difference, I already said the difference explicit and implicit just in this point here. In case of the explicit, equal sign going to use, but in case of the implicit, dot operator, that means just only the dot symbol going to use here. And num after 10 comma 20 we are assigning some value to the A and B. Okay, and second one is also this second object I want to declare. The object name is the obj2, and such one is called as the declaration, and later next one it initializing some value for the variables A and B. So I am accessing the object obj1 and obj2 by using the member function. So such member function syntax we already know. So to access the object, that is the obj1 dot display, obj2 dot display. When you are going to access obj1 dot display, so whatever you return in display part, so we return in display part, that is A is equal to 10. So the output A is equal to 10 here, and B is equal to 20. And when you are going to access obj2 dot display, and in obj2 what we return, that is the 40 and 50. So when it going to access, it going to show the A value. A is equal to 40 and B is equal to 50. So clear this point here? So some of the note we can say that in this case here. So about our note, so here we used one parameterized constructor. The parameterized constructor is the num int m int n. Why? Because separated by using comma, so is defined inside a class. Correct? No, it is the first note. Whatever the parameterized constructor is there in our implicit call, here in this case I define one parameterized constructor, that is int m int n is defined inside a class here. And for each object created, why? Because obj1, obj2 in this program 2 objects are created. So for each object created, the different value are passed from the main function. Clear this point? Why? Because default constructor we already know whatever the objects are there, how many objects are there, each object containing same set of value. There is no any changes in values here. Maybe in our default constructor obj1 AB, obj2 AB is there. So obj1 A is equal to 10 means obj2 A is equal to 10 only, and in case of the obj1 B value is equal to 20 and obj2 B value is equal to 20 only. Whatever the value we added in AB, the same value going to use, but in case of our parameterized constructor, the different object containing different values. Okay, so the different value are passed from the main function. So finally we can say that the different value, or it possible to pass the different value to different arguments in our parameterized constructor. Thank you.